Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our sister. So the message reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? So my brother, I have come here on your platform, and please, I want your listeners to understand that I am not trying to discourage other people out there. Like, if you have your own confession, yes, it is fine. You can come and give your own confession, but please do not go on social media even using your real profile picture and everything, giving your confessions, because if your confession is about these prophets, like in my husband's case, he used to be a bodyguard. He told me a lot of stuff, and I even suspect that this prophet, he can even send someone to assassinate you if you try to expose him, because him being a prophet, this is what gives him money. This is what makes him to be able to feed his own family. So if you try to take away that from him, then know that you are going to be in trouble. That man, according to my husband, he is like a murderer, a man that is possessed, a man that is cruel-hearted. He pretends to be someone that has a good heart, but deep inside he is quite a cruel man. So I just want to encourage others, like, if you have been abused by these prophets, first look at your situation, the situation in your country. If you go to the police, are the police not that corrupt? Because if the police in your country, if they are easily corrupted, then if you go and report that this prophet has been abusing me, what will happen is that at the end of the day, those same police officers, they would go straight to that prophet, then they will be given some money, and then they will come and maybe they will have a false charge on you so that they can just arrest you. This is what my husband told me, that most of the people that will get arrested, they will get arrested so that if the story comes out in the newspapers, then they will be discredited as if they are criminals. No one is going to believe a criminal, yet you will be a victim of abuse. So if your country is quite a corrupt country, make sure that when you get abused by these men, try to live your life, try to start your life afresh, get away from that church, maybe go and find another church or pray at home. Because if you try to fight against these big men, especially in those countries that are quite corrupt, then at the end of the day, you are going to get yourself killed, you are going to suffer. So there are a lot of stories that my husband told me, and to prove to you that this man, he is very powerful, this prophet from Zim. Even at that time when my husband said that he's too tired, he was feeling fatigued because of the things that he kept on doing for this prophet, lying to the people in church, and each and every Sunday being made to stand in front of church, giving false confessions about him cheating on his wife. There came a time that he was having a mental breakdown. So when the prophet saw that my husband, because of all of these lies, was having a mental breakdown, he then said to my husband, so which country do you desire to stay? Which country do you want to go and stay so that you can retire? My husband then came and spoke with me. We then looked at the world map and we chose this particular country where we are staying. So my husband was paid a lot of money. The money that my husband was paid, it is going to last us a lifetime. And even when we are gone, because of the proper investments that we have done, our kids are never going to suffer. Even if they say that they do not want to work anymore, I tell you that this is a guarantee that our kids, there won't be any need for them to work in their life again. All that they need to do is to properly reinvest in these investments that we have done in this country where we are staying. So even when we came here to this country, it was quite easy because we just came here as business investors. But what pains me the most is these women that used to go to the same church that me and my husband were going to, that prophet's church. Those women, I just wonder what exactly are they doing right now with the stories that my husband told me? Because my husband said that there are 28 of those women that he can remember. 28 of those women that the prophet dated. Most of them, they were married women. And usually these married women, they would come to that church because they would have seen him on TV, on Facebook, on social media, just performing his miracles. And he claimed that even if you can't have a child, if you come to my church, if I pray for you, then you are going to have a child. Most of those women ended up falling pregnant for him, and some of them, they chose to keep the babies, but not all of them. He was the one who will choose that this one that I have impregnated, she is supposed to keep that child. But there are 28 of those that my husband said he witnessed them being forced to have abortion, your forced abortions. And my husband, the reason as to why he was having a mental breakdown, because these 28 women, it is as if they were cheating on with my husband. Because what will happen is that if you would go to that church, and if you are like very, very beautiful, that prophet, he will just tell my husband, since he was like his personal bodyguard, he will just whisper to him that I want you to target that woman. So when you would go back and sit down later on, my husband, he would follow you. And when he sees that not a lot of people are looking at you, my husband will then approach you and tell you that the prophet is interested in you. The prophet wants to have a one-on-one session with you. Then later on, you will go and meet the prophet. And because of the excitement, you won't even think about a lot of stuff. And then the next thing is that the prophet will be flirting with you. If the prophet sees that you are also lusting after him, you want to sleep with him, then the prophet will organize with my husband, and my husband will act as if he will be the one that will be dating you. He will come and pick you up, go with you to different lodges, and my husband was the one who would book for this prophet. And even if my husband tries to expose this prophet, it will be very difficult, because my husband was the one who used to do all the runnings, signing the papers that needed to be signed when they would go with these women to have an abortion. But my husband said that there is this particular private hospital that is there in Harare, where all of these women, they were taken to, because the doctor is the friend of the prophet. But the prophet made sure that he would never be seen at that private clinic, and his name never to be written down in any documents at that private clinic. My husband was the one who would regularly bring in these women that were supposed to have these abortions. So his name is the one that would appear in those documents if it ever happens that this prophet will be exposed, and my husband might be the one that will end up being in trouble. So these are some of the things that my husband told me about this prophet, this man. It is said that he is quite an evil man. And when my husband started to be very close to this prophet, he has a lot of properties and a lot of houses that are there in Zim, where in Harare specifically, where he does most of his rituals. So we were then taken to one of his houses, which is in the suburbs, and we were told that this is the place that we were going to stay, a very nice place. And within a day, I saw that, money is really good, because we were taken out of a high density area and now staying in a low density area. And I thought that God had done this for me, and God had finally blessed me and my husband. But little did I know that my husband already and that prophet, they had been planning and doing a lot of rituals. It was said that this prophet, he had gone to Zambia when he had started his own church. So in Zambia, that is where his powerful traditional healer stays. But this healer, he used to come to his house, and I was the one who would take care of him, and we would pretend as if he is our relative from Zambia. And the pastor would only come to our house late at night, and there was this other room, a spare bedroom, which was supposed to be locked at all the times. It will only be used when that traditional healer will be in our country. That is the room that he used to stay. So you can just imagine like the trauma that I was facing at that time. This traditional healer who will be staying at your house will be busy doing rituals day and night to strengthen the prophet, the man that you thought that was a man of God. These things, they used to traumatize me a lot, but my husband told me some scary stuff. Even the pulpit that this prophet still uses in his church, my husband told me that this pulpit, it was ordered in Nigeria, and he was given this pulpit by this other bishop there in Nigeria. So this pulpit, it was transported from Nigeria. It then came to South Africa, and from there on, it then came to Zim in our country. And my husband and the prophet were the ones that went and collected that pulpit late at night, and they didn't take it to the church straight away, but they came with it to that same house where we were staying, and it was locked up in that spare bedroom for a very long time until that traditional healer, it came to our country. So this traditional healer, it was said that he used to perform a lot of rituals. So these rituals, what they do, according to my husband, is that whenever this prophet will be standing at his pulpit, anyone that will be looking at him, it does not matter if you will be looking at his videos, you'll just to feel so sorry for him. And when you feel so sorry for him, then you will feel that you have to donate some money to him so that at least he can help other poor people, because he pretends like he helps poor people out there. So these are some of the things that my husband told me about this prophet. A lot of rituals, they do take place at his church, according to my husband, even though we managed to escape from Zim. And right now, I am living a very comfortable life. Me and my husband, we are considered to be wealthy people, but still I do not have peace in my heart, because I keep on thinking about the women that this prophet slept with. And there is another story also that my husband told me, that there was this other man who is also from Zim, but this man, he was staying in Europe. This man then came to Zim because him and his wife, they were about to get a divorce. So he came quickly to the prophet because he had spoken with the prophet online, and the prophet had said that this was quite an easy thing to do. He was going to assist him so that the wife was not going to divorce him. He then came to Zim after he had paid a lot of money, and my husband said that he had paid about $2,000. This is just for one-on-one with him, with the prophet, and then you have to pay for the prayers and other things like that. And you also need to book at one of his guest houses, one of his properties that he uses as a guest house for his international visitors. So that man, after he had used a lot of money, to his surprise, after he had a one-on-one with the prophet, then they started to fight even more with the wife whom he had left in Europe. The wife was saying that, I was actually thinking of giving you a second chance, but now when I think of it, I do not need you in my life. Let us do this divorce and let us just go on our separate ways. So this man, it was said by my husband that he returned back to that prophet and he demanded his money, and he said, please just give me my money. You have tried, I can see, men of God, to pray for me, but please give me my money so that I can use the money for something else. Prophet then sent my husband and some of his bodyguards to go and threaten this innocent man, and the way that they threatened him was by telling him if he tries to fight with the prophet, to go to the media, to go to the police, then at the end of the day, he was going to lose his mother, because the prophet knew where the mother was staying, and they used to retrieve a lot of information to those people that would come to have a one-on-one interview with the prophet, so that they can use it against those same people when they start to demand their money back, after they would have seen that this prophet, he cannot solve your problems. So these are some of the things that my husband told me. Please post my own story. I hope that your listeners are not going to judge me because of the things that my husband used to do, but he was also trapped in that same vicious cycle. And in the end, he chose peace to run away because he was the one who was really close to this prophet. He knows that if you try to fight with this man, you will never win the war. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by our dear sister right there. Strange things do happen in this world. Just imagine sleeping with 28 women, impregnating them, then forcing them to have abortions. How about that pulpit that is said to have been made in Nigeria, donated to him by a Nigerian bishop, then transported via South Africa, then Zim. So this pulpit, when he is standing behind that pulpit, then it means that when you look at him, it does not matter if you are in church or online, you just feel sorry, so much sadness for him, thinking that he is doing the work of the Lord. So let me try to give him some money. But the spirits that are inside that pulpit are the ones that will be making you to feel sorry for him. African magic, strange things do happen in this world.